right.
Jessica, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much, Brianna. Thank you for the $2. Yeah, if they cared about life, they would talk about women's lives, but they never talk about this. They only talk about like the literal fucking single cell organisms in the embryo. So it's a pal to you? All right, let's get this next person up here. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. That's something I brought up in like that Jubilee video one of those Jubilee videos I was on. They cut out.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I literally brought. I'm like, dude, why do you care more about like a zygote than you care about literally women's lives that are sentient?
Wow.
And
It's
like
fucking dumb
they
that
cut it out. I hate
Tragic.
that they cut it out. It's so
Yeah,
tragic.
tragic.
Communists.
How old are you?
18.
Can you define
communism? Yeah.
That's what you are. That's what Communist Chris, Communist Chris, and
Okay, can you define it?
yeah, I can. I don't have to.
What state do you live in?
I live in New York.
What time is it?
7:07.
Okay. So then can you define communist?
Again, that's what you believe in, but it's a system where, you know, they start with socialism, then they move to communism, and it's a
What is
utopia
communism?
it's a fake utopia where everybody owns. There's no money, there's no state, there's nothing, and that's what the Marxist
no state,
Democrats
no class.
want.
That's not what we're advocating for. We
Well,
never advocated for no state, no
If
class,
you're a
and no money.
Democrat, that's what you're advocating for.
No, it's not. What the fuck, dude?
You're-
Democrats are advocating
you're
to
communist
get rid of.
Chris, and
Dude, you're
and-
trolling. This guy's
Dylan,
trolling.
you
There's no way.
you know what's funny, Dylan? If you're not trolling, that Parker is like certainly more of a like quote unquote leftist than I am. Like I always find this conversation really funny because there's there's probably actual communists and socialists in this live who would define me as like a fascist or say that I'm being like a staunch liberal and
Dude,
like,
Well,
I'm
you
not.
could be
Wait,
both.
I've actually seen that. Okay.
Yeah,
you know,
no, literally. I find this hilarious because
I think that's insane.
the actual leftist, and then just because you're a leftist, obviously doesn't mean you're a communist. But
most
if you're-
leftists do not believe that though. Like
right, of course.
I would
of course.
say
Marxist-
most leftists would acknowledge that we are liberals, that we aren't leftists, right? In terms of a sense that we're not socialists, we're not communists. I used to be a socialist. I used to be a communist. I know how to define the terms. And I do not meet those conditions. I'm a social democrat.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
You
do
know-
do you even know what that is?
It's the welfare. They all want the welfare for everybody, and that's what Marxist Maori.
Dylan,
and-
let me tell you what I think it is. This is what it is. Every single person should be able to have access to healthcare, housing, education, childcare, safe food, safe water, right? Basic standard of care for everyone. That's what I believe in, right? Why don't you believe in that? Why don't you believe we should take care of our fellow people?
Capitalism does that. Socialism, social
Yeah,
democracy,
Parker
Marxist
supports
Maoism.
capitalism.
I'm a
Parker
social democrat.
supports capitalism.
So
Huh?
capitalism, yeah, capitalism.
Parker
I support
supports capitalism.
I'm a social
No.
democrat.
If you support Harris, you don't support capitalism or
Can
free
you
market.
expand-
I'm
can
gonna
you
kick
expand
you
on that,
because
please?
you're just your brain
Yeah,
does not
that's a
function
troll.
properly.
Yo, Denisa, maybe? Thank you for screaming from the rooftops about women's rights. $5 on PayPal. Yeah, that goes a really long way. Truly, I don't take that for granted. I appreciate you so much, Megan. Thank you so much for $2 on Cash App. I appreciate you. I got you. Message received.
I
You
haven't
fucking
seen
rock.
on Dean recently, but he did message. Jack, did you vote Trump?
I did, and I'm jumping in on your last topic for two reasons. One, you.
Oh wait, I'm so sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. Give me 1 second here. Can I get a million W's in the chat for Devin? Welcome to Chicago. You, Parker, Harry, and Dean are great. Love you. $50 on Venmo. That is not something I take for granted. That is so unbelievably kind. There's never any pressure to donate monetarily. It means the absolute world. Can I get a million W's in the chat for Devin? I love Chicago. This place is dope. Megan, you're actually the best person in the South currently. I'd love you forever if you follow me on TikTok. I'll follow you. $5 on Venmo. You're the best. I lived in Georgia forever. I literally moved to Chicago like a week ago, but I promise I'll end up living in Atlanta. Just for the time being. I need a fresh start. Megan, you're absolutely amazing. I'll read the rest of these in a second. Guys, thank you
Monet,
so
thank you for the
much.
dollar. It's not loading for me either, honestly. Janae, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you for the $5. Thank you.
Katie, $2 on Venmo. I was raped at 10 and required an abortion. I couldn't have carried the baby because I was too small on top of all the trauma. We need abortion laws. This was also in Georgia in 2006. Katie, I'm really, really, really sorry that happened. I really appreciate you being here and your support. And I agree. We need better laws. I mean, there's a girl in Texas right now, 7th grade, was assaulted in her own backyard halfway through 6th grade, started the 7th grade pregnant, and carried the baby to term. Couldn't get an abortion. We see stories like this. And Katie, I'm incredibly sorry. I'm proud of you. I really appreciate you being here. Lacey, thank you so much for $12 on Venmo. Thank you for the passion and education on this topic. I really appreciate all your support. Seriously, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Neely, $5. Good to see you again. I was trying for baby 2 and had to have 3 abortions because my body just wouldn't miscarry naturally after the fetus died. Abortion is healthcare, 100%. And again, really, 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 I'm proud of you for the strength to go through. I really appreciate you. $5. I agree. Abortion is healthcare. Sorry, go ahead, Guess. I'll read the rest of these in a second. Thank you guys so much. Again, I appreciate you guys being open enough to share your stories. I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
This is directed to you, Chris. First, I want to say, yes, I voted for Trump. 2, I'm pro-choice. 3, I'm a retired emergency department nurse, and I worked in New York City, Boston, Manhattan, Florida.
I appreciate you.
And what I'm trying to get across to you is anecdotes are anecdotes. I'm telling you that before, during, and after any of these abortion laws, there's not one woman that will be denied care if the fetus isn't viable. If they have an ectopic, they're not going to wait 3 hours. If the drug you're talking about is a Schedule 5, Schedule 5 is about one of the lowest things there is. Codeine is Schedule 4, which is higher. What I'm trying to say, Chris, is you are really 100% wrong. And if you looked into every case that you're quoting happened and looked into the actual medical intervention, I cannot ever believe that any woman's care was denied and they died because they were having a miscarriage. It doesn't happen.
So then what happened with Amber Thurman in Georgia? I'm sure you're familiar with that.
I'm familiar with what's been stated, but I'm not familiar with the specifics of the case other than the anecdotal stories.
Well,
Okay.
again, like
Wait. In the sense, and we're talking about a specific scenario, you calling it anecdotal does not dispute its relevance because we're not using it to justify some generalized point. We're specifically using it as an example to justify that there are people that are dying because of this, because you're making the claim that there are not people dying because of these particular types of laws.
You're absolutely right. I totally 110% disagree that you can show me a young lady who was raped, a young lady who had a miscarriage, a young lady who had an ectopic. No care has ever been denied.
Wait, really? So what? Wait. So the 13th. Wait. So there's a 13-year-old girl in Mississippi right now who was assaulted in her own backyard and carried the baby to term. She couldn't get an abortion.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Again, why couldn't she get an abortion?
No. See, the thing is, you're not sure, but there's a family that's lives have been fucking upended and ruined because of that.
You don't know that any more than I do. Okay. You may know
so what I know is that there was a federal protection for abortion before Roe v. Wade was overturned, which means there was abortion clinics in Mississippi. What I know now is that Mississippi has a complete and total abortion ban, and the nearest provider to Mississippi via driving is Chicago. And I know that the mother worked 2 jobs and was so distraught from the fact, blamed herself that her daughter got assaulted, which she shouldn't blame herself. Again, can't even imagine the psychology, that she tried desperately to get to Chicago, but couldn't. Right? So I know that if Roe v. Wade was still in effect, that she would have been able to take her child somewhere in Mississippi and had a much better chance of getting her child an abortion.
I won't speak on the Mississippi law specifically, but what I will reiterate is no woman under any state that has these laws that you say they have would ever have treatment delayed to the point of dying or the point of becoming septic.
Then
if
let
they
me ask
came
you.
in and they were septic, that's another story, because if you're septic, your chances of living are about 10%, unless you catch it quickly.
And I know you might not want to speak on specific cases, but again, Amber Thurman in Georgia travels state lines, takes illegal abortion drugs in North Carolina, comes back to Atlanta, right, and ends up. It turns out that the fetal matter had not fully left her uterus, and so she needed a DNC.
That's retained products of conception.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And so she went to Piedmont Hospital, and the doctors hooked her up to monitor, and they waited 19 hours. By an hour 18, her organs started failing and she died. She was 28 years old. She was about to go to medical school and she had a daughter.
I
So
think that's a great story.
yeah, so
I
I'm
would
asking you
not draw
why.
those conclusions unless I read the whole medical record,
Okay, and
other than being told that's what happened.
well, fantastic. There's actually a committee in Georgia that's now been, everyone on that committee has been fired by Brian Kemp. But there's actually a committee that already ruled that death was entirely preventable and blamed. And there's other groups have read that report who have blamed that death on Georgia's abortion law. Because like, here's the thing: 18 hours. What we're logically going to assume is that doctors were waiting because they were consulting with attorneys to
That's
figure out if.
assuming. I
Okay,
disagree with you.
it is such an egregious, I do not can you give me another logical possible reason why doctors, they could have performed the surgery 15 minutes, no equipment when she got to the hospital. Why was there 18 hours where they waited? And I do want to point out before we talk, Piedmont Hospital in North Atlanta is one of the most, is a world-renowned hospital. In fact, who is the, there's an individual, there's a famous comedian who just came out for his new special and said that he had a brain aneurysm and almost died. He went to Piedmont Hospital. To a lot of the amazing doctors, saved his life at Piedmont Hospital. I was born at Piedmont Hospital, statistically one of the most world-renowned hospitals. Why there has never been another scenario where a team of doctors wait 19 hours. So there can't possibly be another explanation.
Well, I don't know if it was a team, but I'll tell you if it was 18 hours, that's malpractice. And that has nothing to do with it. A doctor that waited because of the law. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen.
It's not. But here's a no. Hold on. But that's my point. Is that you say it's malpractice. Again, what's happening here is that the Georgia abortion law is very vague and confusing. It says that you can provide because she had already miscarried, right? But the Georgia law says you can help someone with a miscarriage if they had a naturally occurring miscarriage. Technically, because Amber Thurman took abortion pills, her abortion was not naturally occurring. And so again, all this to say that when you are going to perform a DNC on Amber Thurman, you are at some level risking 10 years in prison and a felony and losing your license. And so there's an enormous pressure on these doctors. The whole point being, the government shouldn't be involved in these things. And it was absolutely the cause of Amber Thurman's death.
And you don't think they'll lose their license for what they did? They will absolutely lose their license for what they did.
No.
Okay, and I'm not trying to change your mind. All I'm saying is I agree with pro-choice. What I disagree with is a little bit of this stuff that this happened here, this happened there, this happened there. There's not that many abortions that this could happen all the time. If you have a miscarriage and you have products of conception, there's not a doctor in the world who wouldn't intervene. And if they didn't, they will lose their license. That's all.
I do want to point out quickly before Nurse Heather goes, a lot of the stories I talked about, again, were women who were not seeking an abortion. They just couldn't get care for a pregnancy. They wanted to continue. Maybe they needed an abortion medically. Again,
hold on, Chris. I gotta let the chat know. Chat. That was a notification saying to disregard the last one, like for the area that I was in. So just letting everyone know. We're all good. It was a notification through emergency.
Everyone, please stay safe. Please stay safe here in California.
Please do. Calling from Florida. When I say to evacuate with a hurricane, it's time to go, even if I don't think I'm close.
Jack, I appreciate the work. I appreciate the work you've done around healthcare. And again, we have another a nurse in here. I'll let her speak because she's brilliant. Love Nurse Heather W. But really quickly, again, a lot of the stories I brought up were not people actively actively. They were pregnant. They were seeking care because something had gone. Had gone astray. And if we look at if the U.S. maternal mortality rate ranks 55th in the developed world, and we can see that in places like Texas, specifically, the maternal mortality rate is increasing significantly more than everywhere other states, every other state in the United States, then it's much more likely it's being caused by something like abortion bans because women are not getting health care or doctors are leaving because they don't want to provide that health care. I don't know why else the maternal mortality rate in Texas.
I can guarantee you that.
Doctors aren't leaving?
No,
in Georgia, half our counties don't have OBGYNs. That wasn't the case before Roe v. Wade. You're gonna tell the women I've talked to that are driving 2 hours because the primary care provider closed shop that they're just fucking making shit up?
No, I don't want to say that, but you do remember malpractice when all the prices went up. Everyone said, all the doctors are leaving. They don't leave, trust me. They may move their practice. But I'm telling you, my only concern is that, I'm sure some have. I think the numbers are insignificant.
Okay, go ahead, Nurse Heather.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you're a nurse as well?
I am.
Okay. And so what exactly is your issue?
My issue is Chris talking about women who have had a miscarriage for whatever reason and had something wrong with the baby and their treatment was delayed. And working in emergency departments for 40 years of my young life, there's not a doctor, a provider, a nurse practitioner, a PA that would ever delay treatment. There's not a doctor that knew there were products of conceptions left inside the woman that would wait 18 hours. And if they did, they deserve to do their license. And I just don't see it. I'm not even trying to convince you. I'm telling you, I have never witnessed it.
Oh,
Nor
well, I mean, no, you're
what
not
happened
going to
today.
convince me because, like, that's true. That's the only explanation for why these women are dying, right? Like Chris said, like you tell us if if the difference between pre Roe v. Wade being overturned and now we have maternal mortality rates skyrocketing, doctors moving out of these states, people unable to access primary care, situations where women are waiting way too long to receive the care that they need. The
Can I
only
call Parker
answer
for a
is
minute?
because of the law. So, like,
Where is the
nothing
source
makes
that
me more
says
mad
it's
than
skyrocketing?
listening to people say that these doctors are committing medical malpractice because they're doing the exact opposite. They are trying to protect their license. They know that they need to operate on these women, but they have to go to ethics boards, they have to go to lawyers, they have to like go past the frickin' governor of Texas before they can practice these procedures that everybody knows they need. These women need these procedures. You just said that. You know that. I know that. So you tell me, why aren't they getting them? If it's not because of the change in the laws, why is it?
So hold up 1 second. I have to unmute him.
He was muted. Oh, muted me. Thank you. I said, what I'm trying to get across is abortion is a horrible issue. I would never want to be in a position to make that decision as a man for a woman. So I perfectly support, I've always supported choice, still voted for Trump, but always support choice.
That's
But
contradictory.
but I'm talking, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Because
Being a
Donald Trump was the
president
one who
is
restricted
not
their
a one
access.
issue. You're right. Being a president is not one issue.
So,
Being a
so
president
what
is about
particular
500
issue is
issues.
more relevant? What particular issue is more relevant than women getting access to their rights?
We need a very good commander in chief. And
Okay.
without getting off, I think you're pivoting. Oh, I love this.
Can
I
you
get to
explain
use
to
your
me
words.
what? Can you explain to me
No, I don't
what
want to explain to you.
specifically? Can you explain to me what specifically about Kamala Harris is so bad in terms of being a quote unquote commander in chief that means that it is the case that Donald Trump is going to be so much better insofar as that you're going to overlook women not having rights?
Wow, that's quite a convoluted question, but if you give me 30 seconds, I'll try to answer it.
I also think as you answer, again, I would address Heather's point about like if it's what is the reason after Roe v. Wade we're seeing these maternal mortality rates skyrocket if it's not the laws?
Well, again, I'm not sure about the source for skyrocketing
According
mortality
to
rates.
according to
Go ahead.
according to the CDC, if we take the CDC data for the maternal mortality rate in Texas, it's increased 56% from 2019 to 2022 compared to 11% nationwide. The maternal mortality rate for all individuals in 2022 was 28.5 per 100,000. For reference, Canada's maternal mortality rate is 8. In 2021, which is obviously more of a financially difficult year for a lot of people, that rate for all individuals was 43.9 per 100,000, 79, almost 80 per 100,000 for Black individuals. Again, Texas is 8. So in this time period, like from 2019 to 2022, we've seen Texas specifically, this is a good analysis of Texas, increase significantly more than nationwide, the maternal mortality rate increasing. So the question I think Nurse Heather is posing is if it's not, if it's not the laws, if it's not women being denied care or not getting access to care, then why is it increasing so much?
Can I just say something really quick before I answer this? I'm just going to say this because I've seen it a few times in the comment. Two things. One, yeah, I'm non-practicing. That's intentional. I'm doing my master's right now, so I'm not practicing legally. I have to say that. That doesn't mean I'm not a nurse. The second thing, yes, I'm Canadian. That's also irrelevant because Canadian trained and American trained nurses write the exact same board licensing exam. I can practice anywhere in the States as easily as I can practice anywhere in Canada.
Some of my best friends are Canadian
Jack,
nurses.
Jack, I have a question. Have you already had this debate with Heather on Harry's Live?
Who, me? No,
I don't recognize
I,
him either.
I don't think so. If
So,
I did, I'd certainly admit
someone
it.
sent me that message. A lot of people are saying yes that
Maybe.
that you
I,
did
I,
have that.
I, I've had one conversation. It may have been with you. It might have been with Dean. It might have, I'm not sure. But what specifically I'm calling for today was that I support pro-choice. I don't think the tactics of, and I think they are scare tactics when they say doctors, providers are delaying treatment for certain things. I, in my practice, have never, ever, ever seen that. For also, do you remember Edelin? I know you're probably too young.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Edelin?
Wait, so I like how when you first came on here, you were like anecdotal evidence. But then what you just
Yeah.
provided to me was an anecdotal claim. Because you have never seen it means
What's
it's
in the
never
hole?
fucking happened before.
No. I'm telling you, I've been around many hospitals in DC. I got off the
Is
job at
that not
CSI. I never turned
anecdotal?
it down.
Is that
Yeah,
anecdotal?
no,
Yes or no?
it is. It absolutely is. So if you don't like anecdotal, you can't support anecdotal statements. Okay, that's all. And I don't think. I'm sorry, I get your names mixed up because you all say the same thing. Chris is being helpful in this matter because I don't think he's even close to being correct. That's all I wanted to come up for. You
Can
can
I
continue to
ask you
believe what
about
you
your
want.
view in terms of being like pro Trump? Like the
Yeah,
question I asked earlier, can you give me
I
anything that
know.
is worse about Kamala Harris than literally
Yeah,
restricting women's rights?
yeah. If you give me 30 seconds, I promise I will, and I'm going to say goodnight. I'm getting to be an old man. I'm telling you that my absolute political belief is that one, Biden was incompetent. Two, he was basically forced out. Three, there were many people that didn't want Kamala Harris in the Democratic Party.
Kamala.
Joe Biden came out the day, and that's another thing. I love that we see Trump. He's made up like a clown. No one cares about that. But every one of you worry about how you
You still
pronounce
haven't
Kamala's
mentioned a
name.
single thing bad
Okay?
about Kamala.
I'm telling I'm telling you
I'm
that
waiting. I'm
she was
seriously
not
waiting.
she was not equipped. You at one point say, well, she was only the vice president. The only duties the vice president has is blah. Well, the only thing Kamala did during the whole process was it 33 times she split the Senate vote or sided on the Senate in a 50-50 vote.
She had the most tie-breaking votes of any
That's
vice
it.
president. So can I
And
finish
if,
my statement? I let you finish.
well, I was, you did. You interrupted me with that.
No, I didn't. You asked me a
50-50
question.
50-50
You
is
asked
not
me a
good.
question.
That the president, what was the question I asked?
You asked how many tie-breaking votes.
No, I told you how many tie-breaking votes.
You said
I
it in a
said
question.
33.
You said
You're
it in a
right.
question.
You're absolutely.
You said it in a question. Shut the fuck up, dude. Why are you so annoying, dude? Like, literally, I'm just trying to explain. That's the most any vice president has ever done. She also raised private funds, right, within Central America to reduce the likelihood of people coming here in terms of the migration crisis. So you can say that she did nothing, but she did the most of any other vice president, and you don't say that about any other vice presidential candidate throughout history, right? Secondly, in terms of like literally like her qualifications, she was a senator, she was a district attorney, she was an attorney general, right? She's worked within politics for a pretty long time. She's pretty accredited. I like how you didn't ask any of those questions about Donald Trump. Donald Trump has fucking zero qualifications to be president of the United States. He bankrupted 6 times off of inheriting $400 million, adjusted for inflation, from his daddy. That's literally what he inherited.
May I comment on that? That has been your dissertation for about 7 months, and it didn't work. That's all I have to say. It didn't work. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just telling you that really, Kamala was put there because there was no way in hell that if they didn't support her, they would have had a snowball's chance in hell to win. They didn't have a snowball's chance in hell to win with her.
Do you realize that he hasn't responded to a single point I've made this entire time?
I've responded to every point.
No, you
made.
haven't. What point did you respond to?
Your whole dissertation is a false narrative that has been rehearsed and rehearsed. You
What is
spit it
false
out
about it? What's
like
false?
anything.
Don't just say it's false.
About-
Tell me what about it's false. You can't just responding to what I'm
About-
saying is by just saying it's
about-
false.
You don't have to yell about her being a district attorney. She had no more or less qualifications. Obama didn't have any great qualifications when he ran.
She was a
I
district
voted for
attorney.
Obama.
She was
Yep,
a district
you're
attorney. So what was
absolutely, absolutely.
so then what was
Okay?
false?
What's false is your belief that she was qualified to do the job. There were at least
What? Wait, what
77
did I
million
say that was
people
false?
did.
You just said that it was
I'm telling
false
you,
that she was
you said-
qualified. What doesn't I
Yeah.
just gave you multiple reasons why she was qualified, right? And you
And
didn't
I
respond to
disagree
any of the
with you.
reasons.
Disagree with them. I disagree that
You
automatically
disagree that
qualifies.
senator is a qualification for being president of the
No.
United States. That vice president is a qualification for being president of the United States. That being a
No,
lawyer, a district
not-
attorney,
not-
and an
not-
attorney general is literally qualifications for being president of the United States. Now, name to me any of the qualifications that Donald Trump had.
Let me clarify that. Not a disqualification. Anybody can run for president. Okay, anybody can run.
Yeah, but
Okay,
we don't think
and-
anyone should be president. So we say that there are certain qualifications for who should be president, right? Because you
How about
said
being
that Joe
president?
Biden didn't meet those standards because he wasn't mentally equipped enough. Nor is Donald
Wasn't.
Trump, by the way. But what you're not
Oh, yeah, he
acknowledging
is.
is that you're saying what a president should be, because nowhere in the Constitution is that enlisted.
Parker, you comparing Trump's mental status to Biden, you lose credibility, period.
What are you talking about? He literally said that windmills are
I-
causing whales to die in numbers never seen before. What are you talking
Like
about?
I said, if you compare Biden's mental status as just
did.
as bad as Trump's, you lose credibility.
I didn't lose any
And it's
credibility.
why you lost.
If
It's
I haven't
why
lost
you-
if I haven't lost any credibility, type 3 in the comment section.
I don't care what your followers say.
These are just followers.
President
Most of the people
Trump
alive are not following.
Is President Trump. Okay, he won, that's all. They won the Senate. They won the House.
Look
If
at this.
we had
Can you look
lost-
at the chat? Do you see all the threes? So like I
I don't
haven't
care
lost
about the threes.
credibility. Jack, I haven't lost credibility, and you still everything you said is in a response to any of the specific points that I made, and are just vast,
okay.
vague generalizations of like, oh, that's false. Oh, I don't like this.
No,
oh,
no.
that's all it
big
is.
generalizations. No, you asking your followers is that's all it is. It means nothing. Your
I
followers.
gave you
apparently
an argument this
weren't
entire
enough.
time. I gave you
You haven't
arguments
given
this
me
entire
anything.
time.
No.
I have.
Again, if it was me and I wanted
What is something
the
bad that Kamala
Republican
Harris has
Senate,
done? Hey, Jack, what is something bad that Kamala Harris has done?
Jack has done.
What
her
what is
whole camp, what she did was when she was asked questions, and one of her first responses always, 7 out of 10 times, was, "I come from the middle class."
I knew he was
That
gonna
didn't
fucking
help
say
her win.
this. I just want to let people know. Literally, he said he's pro-choice. He said he cares about women getting restricted access to abortion. This is the
so now-
reason that he's providing as to why Kamala Harris is the worst candidate. She said in one interview that she comes from a middle-class family. When Donald Trump said he got a small loan of $1 million, that was his backstory.
Not in one interview. That's where you lose credibility. She
That's where
said
you
it in
lose credibility.
Many. I
No,
know
she
you don't
didn't.
like it. Oh, she most certainly. Do you understand? You don't lose the presidency, the Senate, and the House on one issue.
So I just want to
You don't.
let you know. You said that was her response to like literally every question. No, it wasn't. Right? You didn't actually like look at any of this. You just looked at clips on the internet from X.
Not
I guarantee you
every-
didn't move past X or Facebook. Those are the only places that you spend your time on to be able to
I
identify
guar-
what happened in the election. Because
I
you didn't give a
guarantee
shit
you're
about
wrong.
nuance. You didn't give a shit about context. You didn't give a shit about any of that. You just wanted to frame Kamala Harris in a negative context to make yourself feel better for voting for a civilly liable sexual abuser who
Wow.
literally tried to coup the country by sending false slates of electors to electoral college
Here's your
against Trump votes to
dissertation
win
again.
and restricted women's access to abortion. Because you don't give a shit
None
about
of
women.
this worked,
You don't
Parker.
give a shit about
None of
victims.
this-
All you care about
Parker.
is supporting Donald Trump and his misogynistic rants
No,
over and over
no.
again. His trying to
You're
take
projecting.
Panama and Greenland. I'm not projecting
He's not
shit
going to
because
take Panama. and
your
Greenland.
ca-
You're
your candidate literally said he was unsure about whether or not he wouldn't tell the world. He was unsure about telling the world that he wouldn't use a military to literally take Panama and Greenland. Preach the buck cliff. So you can sit there all you want and act like this didn't happen, but we all heard it. Donald Trump said it, and he's fucking even more unhinged than you would have thought. That's unhinged. No one asked for this. He did not run on this. No one asked for him to try to take fucking Greenland, right? Canada, Mexico, and fucking Panama. No one asked for this. Not even his own base asked for this. This is delusional, unhinged, maniac type shit that you fuck around and found out. Appreciate the sunglasses. Literally, you fucked around, and now we found out that Donald Trump wants to start taking countries. He wants to economically coerce Canada to be the 51st state when multiple provinces would literally have to be a state if you actually did that, if they literally democratically voted in. But they're not democratically voting in. They don't want to join our shit show where we have a presidential candidate, right, specifically that denies the results of the last election. They don't want to like go back on healthcare where literally they have broader access to healthcare. They don't want to like get their education cut.
Harry, oh, excuse me.
Wait, Heather, you are Canadian, right?
Yeah.
Would you want to join the United States?
Would I want to join the United States?
Like as Canada, yeah.
No, of course not. But I would sacrifice Alberta.
Oh, wait, I've always said this. So California, Oregon, Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, and a bunch of the northeastern states, right, all join Canada.
Yes.
Right, all join Canada, and we'll do a trade. Alberta for all of
And
those
That'd be
states.
great.
Yeah, and you can have
I'd do that.
Saskatchewan too if you want.
I do that.
Jack,
See,
Jack, you guys
We
would
can
be
agree on
crushed.
some things. I do that.
You know, I would do that too. I would so do that.
Parker, I'm going to say goodnight, but I just want to leave you with this. Please keep doing this because 2026 is really close. And I think if you keep doing what you're doing, the Republicans are going to continue to be successful. But I do
What
say
makes you think
goodnight.
that? What makes you think that?
I'll try to be brief on this one.
No, you know what it is?
During this election, no, let me
Actually-
answer. Don't
No, I think it's stupid. You're jealous.
tell my answers. I'm not jealous.
I can kick you from the live, so be quiet. Don't unmute your mic. Don't unmute your mic. I'm gonna finish this. So Jack, you're just jealous that I specifically am able to get people to hear what I'm saying and change the world for the better. And what you're doing is you're looking at that and you're saying because you're jealous about that, you want to like somehow like fucking undercut me in any way possible. And the only way you felt like you could is by saying that like I'm getting more Republicans than Democrats. Nothing would support that. All the people that come up here are way more likely to shift towards the left because I'm actually giving factual information than the people who come up on my live that consistently argue with no reasonable basis. Go for it.
Okay, I just want 30 seconds. And I really and truly mean this from the bottom of my heart. I really would like you to continue to do this. But before the election, I was really concerned, absolutely concerned. And I know this is someone that you probably hate, but there was one individual, and I listened to 7 different channels on TV, whether they're liberal, OAN, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Ari Melber, whatever, Tucker Carlson, all of them. I listened to all of them, okay? And I was really concerned that
I gave him 30 seconds. He asked for 30 seconds. So I granted his request, chat. What can I say? I'm like a genie. He asked for a wish and I granted it. No, Heather, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming up. It was good having you on.
Do you mind dropping me a follow?
I got you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming up.
Yeah,
a
thanks
great
for
day.
having me. Bye.
Appreciate you, Heather. All right, let's get this next person up here. Oh my god, that's actually hilarious. That's actually hilarious. I'm out here granting wishes. Jeannie Parker. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
20.
Did you vote Trump?
I did.
Why so?
What'd you say?
Why so?
I just like what he stood for over Kamala, and I liked
Kamala, like what?
and I liked Agenda 47.
Have you been on before?
Most of it?
Have you been on before?
Yeah, I have.
Bye. I had a feeling that person was gonna be annoying. I've already talked to them before apparently, so that's probably why. Sid, think of it $2. Thank you so much. I don't know. Maybe he is trying to say crazy stuff to like what? The $2. Thank you so much. I don't know. Maybe you. Devin, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Lena, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Beth, thank you so much for the $25 on Venmo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Can we get some W's for them in the chat? I really appreciate y'all. I really appreciate it. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? And again, by the way, everyone, I just want to let everyone know, I did get an alert saying that they disregarded the emergency message I got. So don't worry, everyone. We're chilling. We're in a safe area. We're fine. Erica, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you so much. You should let people pay to kick jerks off. I might add that. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Oh, I'm 20.
Did you vote Trump?
I did.
Why so?
A couple of different reasons. I've gone on a couple of these debates and I've debated other reasons before, but I'll debate you on the border if you want.
Okay, so you did vote Trump, right?
Yeah,
You've been on my lab before?
not on this one. No, I've been on other ones.
Okay, so then I have a question. Can you name one Trump border policy that you like that made conditions better?
Not that he did that. Not that he passed in his last term, but I'm very mixed on his next term. I think mass deportations is kind of a dreamer's policy. I don't think he's actually going to get everything he wants to get done, but it kind of comes off as a contradiction when Obama mass deported like 5 million people, and then people like turn around, and when Trump says he kind of has similar plans, it's like a negative now.
No, because Trump said he wants to like deport like 20, 30 million people, which one, there wasn't 20, 30 million people that came into the country. Two, if you want to reference this, like it's actually like insane to believe that you can figure out who's undocumented if they have not committed a crime. And
Well,
then
I'd
three,
agree,
we
but-
also have to acknowledge that the current border already makes it so that you deport people if you know that they're here undocumented and have committed a crime. Like that's already how the law is.
Right,
set up.
right. In theory, it would work like that, but it's
No,
not
in
always.
reality, it does work that way.
Well, then my question would be like, how do you explain like the asylum rates right now? I think half of them are
Legal.
denied, and well, asylum.
It's a legal
the
process. You need to make the asylum
process-
process go faster.
Right, right. Like the process of asylum is legal, but the fact is the system's being abused. So you get like half of these people that come in for asylum, and among that group, a large
Yeah, that's
majority of
true.
those people, they don't they don't adhere to what the court says.
Then
They
you
just
agree
say,
with
"Oh,
the
it's legal."
bipartisan border bill, right?
I do actually. I do for the most part. I think that shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have gotten shut down, but I do also think that something like that is going to be written into law under the Trump administration. I do blame him for shutting that down. And then that HR2 bill, I had my problems with it, but you asked me like, how do we identify who's like undocumented? In that HR2 bill, there was something to do with like an implementation to like a system where like employers had to like kind of like put into the system whether or not their workers were here legally or not. So I think we can do something like that. I don't think that like
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
just wouldn't report undocumented workers.
right, but then they should be like penalized for that. They should have some sort of
Okay. Of course, you would say that. Like, obviously, you want to penalize the employers, but then that means you would penalize people like Donald Trump who employed undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
want
know.
to you want to give them a fine or put them in prison?
We
I'm
should
down.
give him a fine. Give him a fine. I'm all for that. But I think my biggest problem isn't like the fact that we have undocumented immigrants in the country. Like, I know there is a lot of fear mongering on the right where like they try to make it out. They try to like dehumanize these people. That's not my biggest problem with it. My biggest problem is that like undocumented immigration, and it just in its existence, it like incentivizes people to like take those paths to get into the country as opposed to like the legal system or like.
So if you want to incentivize people to go through the
to get in with the undocumented process, I feel like we need to reform that first before we can even focus on the legal process. I
No,
think
you make making the legal process faster will, by product, make it easier for us to deal with undocumented immigration. And the real reason it'll make it easier is because it'll help us identify who's here for a better life. Because more people who are coming for a better life are just going to go through the legal process rather than go through undocumented because it takes too long.
But we already have people that have come in the wrong way. That's my point. So like, I'm
Yeah,
all for
give them a
expanding the
pathway to
legal system,
citizenship.
but- yeah, but that kind of seems to me like you're giving them special privilege over the people that waited in line to get here the legal way.
Okay, so
Like if somebody comes in on like a
that's
work
what the
visa-
American dream is. So let me explain to you how that's the American dream. The reason why that's the American dream is because we want it better for our children than it was for us. So like that's
Right.
like this like, age-old saying of like, oh, because I had to walk across like 3 million hills, right, in literally negative a million degrees temperature with frostbite on my feet, right, to be able to make it to work, to be able to get food on the table, that means you have to as well. No, we believe in the American dream. We want it to be better for our children than it was for us. So yes, we
Right,
want
right.
special privileges for people of the future. Yes, we want it to be
No,
better
and
for our
I
children.
understand that. I understand that. But my point is that if we start giving away pathways to citizenship, then that'll incentivize more people to like come in on a work visa and then overstay their visa and then just apply for a pathway to citizenship. You see what I'm saying? Like, I
No,
feel like it still incentivizes the undocumented, pathway.
no, because you make the process faster to go through the legal process. Okay, so
I'm
more
all
people would
for
be
that. I'm all
incentivized to
for
do
that.
that. So there's less people going through the undocumented process. And
You know,
also
and
for the
I'm all for
pathway to,
that.
so that's where we're giving them a pathway to citizenship just through legal means. You see what I mean? Like, so incentivize them to go through the citizenship process.
Right, but coming here on a visa, overstaying that visa, and then applying for a pathway is not doing that. I mean, you know, I understand your point.
That's not how. So again, you can also treat people who are already in the country differently than people who would be trying to get into the country in the future, right? You just establish laws in which actually make sense. Once we have
Right.
laws that actually make sense, I don't have an issue with enforcement of those particular laws. But right now, the laws that exist don't make sense. So obviously, if you violate the law, I don't have as much of an issue with it. The same way that like there are certain laws about federal illegalization of the M drug. Yet if you use M drug in a certain state in which I think it's illegal, I wouldn't have an issue with that at all. I'd be like, fuck yeah, bro. Just make sure you don't get caught. Type shit.
No, that's a fair point. You know, I think that makes sense. I don't know. I do find it a little bit like I do find it as kind of a contradiction when like Obama. Do you support all the mass deportations that were done under Obama? I mean, I've seen photos of kids sitting in cages during his presidency, and that was like a direct cause of like his immigration policy. So to me, it's like, I mean, when Obama does it, you guys seem to like put him on a pedestal and talk about how great of a president he was. But when Trump wants to do something similar, you guys are
Give me
acting
an
like
example specifically.
Oh, what do you mean?
Give me a specific example
Of what?
of us putting Obama on a pedestal for something that we blame Trump
Yeah, I
for.
mean, obviously, I'm not going to give you a specific example, but are you denying that? I mean, the left does, you know, act like Obama was an amazing president. I think he was a pretty good president for the record.
I think he was one of our best presidents, but
Right, and
obviously
I would
I obviously agree that there were issues. Now, did you say that the separation kids thing?
I've just seen it. I'm not
So,
super well versed on it, so I'm
so
not
the
gonna act
only
like I am,
conditions
but-
in which that was true was in the context of abuse. That's what we already do for children who are in the United States abused by their parents. We separate them from the parents who are abusing them.
And we put him in cages.
That's not in cages, no.
I don't know. I'm just referencing. I'm not
That's
trying
just
to
the
act
child
like I know
separation
anything
policy.
about
That
the
was not
topic,
in
but
cages.
I'm just referencing, like, I know there was a photo going around a few years back during, I think, Trump's first term where people were trying to, like, pin Trump as, like, a, you know, like, they were taking photos of, like, kids in cages from 2014 and then acting like it was Trump that was the one doing that. And it was, like, it was something on CNN that was
I'd have to see the particular post then.
Yeah,
But,
it'd be kind of hard for me to find them.
Yeah,
You know, I'm sitting in my car
but like
outside
the
of it.
point that I'm making is that like it wasn't separated and putting people in cages. The separation policy was just in the context of abuse.
Right. Well, what do you think about, like, the rapid DNA testing getting taken away from the border?
That
on
makes
the
sense
Biden?
because there's no issue to there's no reason to do DNA, and I'll explain to you why there's no reason to do DNA. Let me give you an example. Adopted parents try to get into the country with their adopted kid, right? Would you prevent them because they didn't have the same DNA?
I think you'd have to, you know, look into them a little more extensively than somebody that
So you
did
do a
share
background
DNA.
check and you look at their documentation, right?
Right, but I think ultimately, like,
So then
I mean,
why wouldn't you? So you do that in any case. If you had DNA that shows that they have a relation, would you still do a background check?
yeah, you would, but I think
So then why is there any relevance of the DNA if you're going to have to evaluate it based upon the background check either way?
Okay, yeah,
Background
I
check
see
is
what you're
necessary
saying.
and sufficient. The DNA by itself is nor necessary nor sufficient.
I see what you're saying. I guess in my head, and you know, I'm thinking like when it comes to like terms of like human trafficking or any of these major issues, but I do get how that kind of contradicts itself with like adopted kids, and you know that is a good point. But I think that it just does raise that like extra level of speculation where it's like, all right, so you guys don't match up with DNA. You know, like if someone, for example, they came in and they said this is my biological daughter, and they were trying to traffic them, and then the DNA doesn't match up, right there, that's a red flag. You see what I'm saying? Like it kind of like obviously if they come to the border.
Now you're just saying that something you'd evaluate based upon, not based upon DNA, but you'd evaluate based upon background check because you'd be able to evaluate that based upon background checks. You don't need DNA to be able to evaluate that. DNA is an unnecessary, more costly endeavor that you'd go through because you would still need documentation to verify.
All right, yeah, I see your point. I'll concede. You know, I mean, that wasn't something I was super like bent up on either. Like that was just one of the things that I kind of had in mind. I mean, I don't know. I just think that his plans for mass deportation, I think he's talking big, but like even these Democrat cities, like, you know, they're
lying.
getting.
He's lying. He doesn't actually like do what he says he's gonna do. He's such a fucking like. I'm gonna tell them that I'm gonna give them all $1 million. That's essentially what his policy is. He's gonna tell them that they're all gonna get $1 million, and once they get elected, now the $1 million is never gonna be seen.
No, I do get.
That's
that
essentially what
does
Trump is
lie
running
about
on.
it.
Yeah, You know what? When I run for president, if I ever did, I would just say I'm going to give everyone $1 million. And like they're going to be
Right.
Trump voters that vote for me because they're like, oh, he's going to give me $1 million.
You know, but you already see him like kind of falling back, and that's kind of what I expected too. I know that's not a great reason to vote for someone, but like the H-1B visas, like you know, he's always been adamantly opposed to that, and then like he gets elected, and all of a sudden he's in favor of it. So I think he's gonna fall back on like birthright citizenship and like a few other like things that should be implemented into the system. But I think that he's really gonna target people at like the asylum denials, like I know ICE already targets those people, but like people that have come into the country in a way where they really shouldn't have, because I mean you can say asylum's legal, but if you're getting denied, that means you just kind
Thank
of
you so much. So then why do you
yeah,
undermine the
abuse it.
bipartisan border bill that would have reworked certain aspects of the asylum process?
You know, I honestly think that's politics. You know, I was against that when he shut that down. I think that for the most part it was a good bill. The only thing that I'm not 100% sure of, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't
Sharon,
study,
thank you
you
so
know,
much for the $10.
politics.
Thank you so much, McKenna. Thank you so much for the $20. Thank you so much, McKenna. I really
Yeah, so
appreciate
I
that.
don't
Thank you.
study like politics religiously, but one thing I did think I saw, like I thought I saw about that bill was that like obviously they were going to send aid to, you know, more border patrol agents and to like more judges to speed up the process, but I also thought I saw something there about like sending money to like cities around the border to like help them
Nothing
with
was
the
too
mass
much.
overflow of immigrants. And to me that's like, you
Sending
know,
what? Sorry, say it one more time.
and I might be wrong, so you can correct me if I am, but they were going to send like billions of dollars to like cities on the border to like help like with like healthcare costs and like other things, like taxpayer money to like basically spend on like people who they're not like technically abusing the system, but like to me it was like, why am I spending my
No, there's no
taxpayer money
federal
to-
money. You're talking about statewide money. So you have an issue with state policy specifically allowing them to give money to immigrants who are legally in the country through the asylum process, money to pay for food for their children. So states'
Okay.
rights to restrict women's access to abortion, but not states' rights to literally provide food for children that are in the country through a legal process.
All right, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I wanted to know. I mean, I started coming up on these debates. I was very conservative before before the election, and after the election, I did start coming up on these. I was pro-life before the election, and now I'm pro-choice. So, you know, like things like that, I do like talking about it and kind of contesting my own views. So, you know, I appreciate it.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Rad?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, let's go to the next person. Everyone only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm, you know, surviving, Parker. That's all you can do to ask for, right?
Yeah,
I'm just
that's all
kidding.
you can ask for.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Oh.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Dude, I have like a
Oh,
traumatic
shit, the-
response to that song.
The Penn State game
And
just
it's
started.
only because of Dean.
Wait, really?
I thought it was Dean too. It is giving Dean.
Can you
What's it,
explain to
Baldy?
me? Can you explain to me House Bill 13848?
Did you vote Trump?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is House Bill
Yeah, what is that?
1384A, bro?
Well, you can Google it. I'm asking you to explain to me what it is.
Well,
Okay.
I'd have to know what it is first.
It's a Senate bill.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know which Senate bill it is.
Well, I'm confused.
Can you tell me?
What's the point
Can
of
you
you
tell me
just
what
like
your thoughts on the First Continental Congress document?
Well,
Yes.
touche.
Can you give me your thoughts on Executive Order 12643? What about Senate Bill 1348? Can you tell me about that one?
Please put one-
13848.
What is it, bro?
Yeah, I said
13 what, bro?
1348. Can you tell me what are your thoughts on Senate Bill 1348?
I'm asking you to tell me.
You tell me.
What's the Senate bill? What's the Senate bill, bro?
13848.
How about you give me your thoughts on
It was initiated in 20.
how about you give me your thoughts on case number 22CV10016?
Well, you got to get to 13637.
Can you tell me your thoughts on that one? Joy, thank
Wait.
you so much for the $1.
Wait, you said it's a Senate bill?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I think so.
No, are you sure you're not referring to an executive order 13848?
Yeah, it's an
Well, those two things are completely different.
it's
So
an
that's
yeah. Well, that's all I'm asking for.
Joey,
is-
thank you so
yeah.
much for the dollar.
So
Thank you
it
so
looks
much.
like imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in the United States election. So it looks like an executive order Trump signed around not later than 45 days after the conclusion of the United States election. The Director of National Intelligence, in consultation with the heads of any other appropriate executive departments and agencies, shall conduct an assessment of any information indicating that a foreign government or any person acting as an agent or of or on behalf of a foreign government has acted with the intent or purpose of interfering in that election. What's your point?
Exactly. I appreciate it. He stole the fucking election.
Wait, your argument is that Donald Trump stole the election?
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's
That's actually wild, man. Dude, I'm
it's blue
sorry.
MAGA.
Dude, that's literally blue MAGA, man. It's actually blue MAGA.
Oh no, guys.
They're like, we can win on it. We can win
So
on it.
wait,
Let's say
this
he
was
stole the election.
signed-
We can win on it.
Wait, this was signed in 2018. It looks like an exec. Hold on a second.
You know, we could have done that. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we could have done that, and like, there's nothing that MAGA could have said.
I know.
There's
executive-
nothing they could have said.
I don't know. It's
I'm
pretty-
serious. We could have actually done that. Yo, what's up,
Actually,
how old are
cool.
you? Like, seriously, like, who's preventing us from doing that? If we just wanted to fuck the society even more, we could have done it. Yeah, what's up, how old are you?
Nigger.
Yeah, ew, you fucking weirdo.
Nigger.
What a weirdo.
Imagine like spending your time doing shit like that.
Nick, thank you so much for the dollar. Thank you.
Wait, 2018? Wait a second.
Super,
Oh,
thank
wait,
you for
this is
the money gun. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Like 20.
Did you vote Trump?
No. Slay.
Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. If you want to support me or Chris, send Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, everyone. Yo, what's up, how old are you? First thing in lights. Did you know that Dean's literally flying out to LA like when there's fires? I was like, dude, Dean picked the best time to come out to LA, dude. Like, actually the best time.
Wait, I don't even understand.
Yo, what's up, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, did you vote Trump?
Yes, I did indeed.
Okay, why so?
Well, I just believe that he was a way better candidate than
Bro.
Harris.
Bro.
What, Chris?
This guy's not a Trump supporter.
What are you
Oh,
talking about?
He's a troll.
But damn,
I love that dude though, bro. He tries so hard. He said, "God damn." Sorry, bro. Sorry. By the
Yeah,
way, I
what's up,
just do want to
Howdy?
point out if the other wait really quickly. Yeah, so it looks like the executive order the blue MAGA guy was referring to, saying that Trump stole the election. This is just for everyone's knowledge. This is an executive order signed in 2018, giving the president and like any like certain administrations or certain people in the executive branch more ability to like sanction bad actors if they have found that they were like actively colluding and trying to like interfere in our elections. I have no idea how an executive order like this would have anything to do with giving Trump the ability to steal the election, but it literally just designates it delegates the implementation of sanctions to the Department of the Treasury, and then describes how you like if someone had
Essentially, it
direct
has no fucking relevance
Yes.
at all towards Trump winning the election in 2024.
Correct.
Absolutely no fucking relevance.
If someone directly or indirectly engaged in, sponsored, concealed, or otherwise was complicit in foreign interference in a U.S. election, assisted in that, financially benefited from that, etc., then they could be sanctioned, and it lays out they can be sanctioned by the Department of the Treasury and designates and delegates how that works. So weird,
Clarence,
bro.
did you vote Trump? Clarence, you there? All right, let's get this next person up here. Only send a guest request if you did vote Trump. Also, by the way, Elon Musk was literally quote tweeting fucking older millennial, yeah.
I know, yeah. He did it once like months ago.
I know.
And I woke up this morning and that's the first text I read from Harry, and I was like, oh wow, another day, another living in hell.
Another day where Elon Musk is literally quote tweeting a guy who called for the genocide of mentally disabled people. Literally did that, and like still is supported by Elon Musk and gets millions of views
Are
for
we
that.
geek tonight?
How old are you?
I'm 19. Are we geek tonight, or was that just last night?
Dude, that's every night, bro.
Good shit.
It's every day, bro.
With the Disney Channel flow. Got 5 mil on YouTube in 6 months. Never done before. That's right.
Past
Past
all the competition now. PewDiePie is next.
Something Rolex.
I don't remember any of the rest.
Yeah, dude. We need
That's like
26.
it's every day, bro.
Yo, Jennifer.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi.
Did you vote Trump?
Sorry, can you repeat that? My volume
Did
was
you
off.
vote Trump?
Yes, I did, and I'm 18.
Are you in the bathtub?
I'm in a hot tub right now.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like that's still weird. Did you vote Trump? So why'd you vote Trump?
I think mainly for economic reasons, but can I address one point before we get started? So it was about the live with Dean and Parker, and you guys were discussing, you were talking to Mariah and discussing why she shouldn't use the label blacks. I personally believe...
Okay. Well, now we're gonna have someone like, oh my god, that's actually insane. That's one that's, I think that's pretty like dehumanizing, right?
I think it's
like,
dehumanizing because you're speaking for them. Don't you
what?
Don't you think white people...
Wait. Do you think white people can identify that certain things are racist?
Parker, can I finish?
If you say something intelligent.
Interrupting each other because you're not winning when you interrupt somebody.
Okay, go ahead. You're not winning when you say something idiotic, but go for it.
I'm not saying anything. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that you should not be speaking for black people. White people have already spoken for them throughout their whole history. White people have already spoken for black people throughout their whole life. I think it is under their conviction.
Wait, I have a question. Are you doing that right now?
Well, it's in a different sense.
By the way, I just want to let you know, you can say things are racist as a white person. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like what you should do. You should say that things are racist.
Please tell me how saying blacks...
Yeah, don't say that again. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna kick you from the stream.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm not
because
gonna say it.
historically it's been used to dehumanize people who are black.
Where have you, like, what?
You haven't seen this within society? How people who specifically use that all the time? Now, what's people's choice word for people who are black who are Nazis today? What word do they specifically use? 'Cause I hear people like Nick Fuentes on Twitter saying that all the time. Why does he specifically choose that word? To dehumanize people who are black.
What word would you suggest people to use when they are discussing
Black people? It's not a difficult concept.
He said it's really simple.
It's really simple. Black people.
Okay, fair. Okay. I mean, you taught me that. I had no idea that it was used in that context during that history.
You should definitely not.
And that's fine. Now you do know, and now you can tell other people. So, like, I'm not calling you a bad person because you didn't know that these things are bad. Now that I've educated you and told you that these things are bad and that other people have acknowledged this and there's had a historical impact that where it's been bad, you should, like, now acknowledge this or try to educate yourself further about this and not do it.
All right, thank you. All right, bye.
Who hurt you?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that really, you can see how much they cared.
We live in a society.
We do live in a society.
Really quickly. Hold on, Zach. Give me like 1 second, buddy. Yo, Mary, thank you so much for $2 on.
I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys.
Yo, Zach, you're the best. Appreciate you, Zach.
Appreciate you.
Mary, I appreciate you always being so kind. And also, from Mary, do these give another $3. Thanks for speaking up about abortion rights. So I appreciate you so much, Mary. Huge W's, Mary. It goes a really long way, truly. Heather, thank you so much for $2 on Venmo. It's always good to see you. It's amazing to see people with platforms validating women's stories and expressing the views so many of us women have on platforms like this. Heather, I appreciate you a lot. Seriously, thank you for watching and being here. It means the world. Truly, W's Heather. Hannah, $1. As someone from a red state, thank you so much for advocating for women's rights. Thank you for being here, Heather. Or Hannah, I'm sorry, Jesus. Hannah, you are amazing. I appreciate you so much. Love you so much. You're the best. I love reading, Parker. It's just something I do so bigly.
Sometimes bigly,
I do so
tremendously great.
I love you. You're
I'll
amazing.
give you a
Amy,
second. Mia, thank
Amy,
you so much
five.
for the $5. Thank you so much, Mia. I appreciate it. They said I'm black, and saying black with the S at the end is totally racist. Love your work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Amy, thank you so much for $5 on Venmo. It was a really long way. Good to see you. These are real stories. These very real stories are heartbreaking, and they're not anecdotes. Thank you for always fighting for women. We love you, Chris. Amy, I love you. It's always really, really good to see you. Thank you. You're the best. Jessica, I had a molar pregnancy and had to do an abortion with pills, which was improperly deemed complete. The tissue kept growing for months, making me very sick. I had to have an emergency DNC. I would have died without that abortion. Abortion is healthcare. Jessica, I'm really, really sorry you went through that, and I'm incredibly fucking proud of you. And thank you for opening up and sharing your story and supporting. It means the absolute world. Huge W's for Jessica. I'm glad you're with us.
Did you vote Trump?
Yeah,
Why so?
because he's the right candidate. And how do you guys feel about
What
TikTok?
state do you live in?
California.
What time is it?
5 in the morning.
It is not 5 in the morning, dude. It's 5 p.m. I live in California.
Allison, thank you so much for $1 on Venmo. Again, Jessica, very proud of you. I appreciate you. I'm sorry I couldn't send more. Please don't apologize. There's never any pressure. Just you being here means the world. I'm sorry I couldn't send more. I'm about to be out of work, but I want to say thank you for what you do. I'm a climate activist. I was wondering if you could follow my podcast to help boost us. I'll check it out, Allison, for sure. I appreciate you so much. You rock. Beth, $25 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Thank you for standing up for women. It's incredibly disrespectful when people like Jack deny women's stories. Beth, I really, really appreciate you. Really, really proud of you.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
21.
Did you vote Trump?
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Mainly abortion.
And CB, or no, not CB, KB, thank you so much. I appreciate the $30. Thank you so much. I'll always pick you over the bear, Parker. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Gia, thank you for the $7. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Annabelle, thank you so much for the $1. And then also go. Go ahead. What's the reason why you voted Trump?
Mainly abortion.
Okay. Okay. Why so?
Because, well, to kind of start off, why do you believe sentience is the benchmark for abortion?
That's just going to be like my intuition. We're going to compare our particular intuitions, and we're going to see which one like conforms most given the particular examples we provide.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
give you like
why.
an example. Like, do you think it's okay, or is murder for a family for a person in someone's family to pull the plug on another individual in their family that's brain dead?
No.
Why not? They have cellular life.
Yeah. Because I believe you should only be able to take somebody's life when it comes to self-defense.
This isn't self-defense. Pulling the plug on an individual.
Exactly.
In your family.
That's why I don't agree with it.
So you think it's murder?
Yeah.
So you think someone should be sent to prison for pulling
Unless
the plug on an individual in their family that's brain dead?
They're not sentient.
They're not sentient now because they're brain dead.
If they're brain dead, they're never going to wake up again. Yeah.
Okay, so then but they're cellularly alive. So under your view, wouldn't you consider that murder?
Sorry,
So do you even know the difference between sentient and cellular life?
Clarify for me, please.
You don't know the difference between cellular life and sentient life?
Can you clarify it for me?
Yeah, sentience is like a subjective experience.
Yeah,
Cellular
it's
life
feeling, it's conscious, perception, stuff like that.
Yeah, cellular life is just going to be based upon cellular processes.
Yes.
So the cellular processes that exist that form life don't necessarily provide a subjective experience for an entity.
Yes.
Okay.
The difference that I would kind of clarify is that if you're brain dead, you're not going to wake up. If you're in the womb, you are.
Okay, but like the thing is, you've never even been awake in the first place. If you're like prior to sentience, they've never been awake in the first place. They've never had an experience in the first place. So why do you value it yet? That's like valuing the sperm cell that created you prior to it creating you. Like literally 0.1 second prior to conception, it was going to be you in the future. Yet the sperm 0.1 second before conception wasn't valuable.
Well, because in an overwhelming majority of the time, it will become.
No, it became valuable once you were sentient, right? You don't become valuable once you're a single cell organism.
No, what I'm saying is because it will become a human being. That's why.
No, you don't value. So then you do value a sperm cell 0.1 second prior to conception because it will become a human being, or will lead to a human being's existence.
Once conception happens. Before
No,
it's just
no,
sperm-
no. It's
just
already.
before.
So again, the sperm cell that caused your existence, 0.1 second prior to conception, right? It is going to be you in the future, yet it's not yet. It's 0.1 second away. At
It's
that
just
point in which it's 0.1 second away, would you value it?
it's just a sperm cell. It only is
But no,
attributed.
but,
It's
but
only
it,
attributed that once conception happens. So it's just a
yeah,
sperm cell. But what
but it's
conception
already
happens?
on that direction. It's already in that direction. If you were in the magic school bus, right, and you could go down to the size of the sperm, you see the sperm is about to enter the egg, about to fertilize the egg, right? But you can direct the path off. Would that be murder? Because the sperm had rights because it was going to lead to conception if you didn't do anything.
No, but the sperm on its own will not become anything once conception happens.
You're not understanding. You're not understanding. It would have led to it. You prevented something that would have led to naturally occurring human beings.
But it won't inherently. It's only once conception happens. That's where I'm kind of struggling.
Dude,
to
I'm
grasp.
gonna go insane. The sperm cell that led to your existence, 0.1 second before conception, was absolutely on track to be you. You can't deny that. It's the sperm cell that led to your existence. Do you
with
agree?
the help, yeah, with the help of the egg, yeah, conception.
Yes. Yeah, and the zygote, in order to become you, has to get help from the pregnant individual who is giving you their resources. You understand that, right? So there are processes that continue you becoming you, right?
Yes.
That also the zygote has to go through, which is after conception.
We live in a society.
We do, dude. What didn't make sense?
Because once conception happens, there is a guarantee.
Dude, I already told you it's the sperm cell that led to your existence. You exist. Therefore, it's a fucking guarantee.
Because of the sperm cell on its own, or because of the sperm cell in the
No,
egg?
dude, it's the zygote won't buy on its own. If you leave a zygote alone with no pregnant individual, no any nutrients from the pregnant individual, I appreciate the sunglasses, then it's not going to be you either. Okay? So you understand the distinction, right? That they both require processes to be able to actualize them as us, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a process that I don't understand why that specifically distincts it.
Distincts it because a sperm on its own will not lead to a human?
Dude, I've just clarified a million times. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, it's not
Brady,
making
thank you so much for the mystery fireworks. Thank you so much.
it's not making sense because a sperm on its own and an egg on its own isn't going to lead to a human, but conception, once that happened, will. 0.1 second before that doesn't matter because it's not the conception's not there yet. The baby is not started.
I understand that conception has not occurred yet, but you understand your point is about it was going to occur in the future, not whether or not it's already occurred. Does that make sense?
Yes,
It's the fact that there's potential. No, you
After
don't. You don't
conception.
just. So you only value potential after conception. Why don't you value potential prior to conception?
Yes, because conception guarantees before there's multiple things that could happen that guarantee it won't happen.
What guarantee what won't happen?
A human life form.
You don't value just a human life form because you think it's okay to pull the plug on an individual in your family that's brain dead. Smurf, thank you so much. I appreciate this. I appreciate the galaxy. Thank you. So what is a guarantee that's unique that provides a value?
That when a brain dead human being is laying down, they will not regain consciousness, and that when a life form is
I understand.
conceived, it will.
I understand, but you don't. So are
That's the
you
difference.
So you're saying you value life forms so long as they will lead to a future sentience?
Yes, partially.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd
okay.
say overwhelmingly yes.
So did you know that a sperm cell is living?
Yeah.
So it is a living organism that will lead to a subjective experience in the future. So then why don't you value the sperm cell?
Because it
0.1
doesn't.
second prior to
It
conception.
doesn't have the characteristics that it needs to become a human being.
Neither does a zygote, under your view, under your perspective, as you just defined it.
A sperm cell on its own, you take it out of the body, you leave it for 9 months. What's it going to be?
If you leave a zygote out of the body for 9 months, what happens?
Sorry, leave it in the body.
Fucking dies.
leave
It fucking dies.
Okay, leave it in the body.
Yeah,
with
if
no
you
egg.
leave the zygote on track in the same position in which it would also lead to the same thing that the zygote did, because it was 0.1 second before a zygote, meaning that it would lead to that for sure. We know we're talking about the zygote that led to your existence. You know for sure, or not the zygote, the sperm cell. You know for sure that sperm cell is going to lead to a person's existence because you're here right in front of us and having a conversation with you. Unless you're a fucking NPC, which is very likely the case. Mark, thank you, description, thank you so much. Then I'm talking to a sentient fucking human being that came from a sperm cell. Okay? I know that's fucking true. Unless you're from some fucking NPC, which could be the case.
Okay, what you used 0.1 second before conception, which is basically already the point of conception.
Yes, that's what the point I'm making.
So it's conception basically.
Prior to,
Oh
before.
my fucking
Do you know
god.
what before means?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, so it's before, right?
Indeed.
So it's not conception, but it is right before, meaning that it's going to yield the same outcomes that you're seeing to be valuable within the sperm cell, within the zygote, right? But it's existing within the context of a sperm cell, yet shows that you don't value the sperm cell.
Is it guaranteed to happen?
Yes.
There's no way that it's gonna fail.
Dude,
Nothing.
he's
Yeah, because it's the sperm cell that led to your existence.
The sperm cell on its own led to my existence.
No, we're not, the zygote on its own did not lead to your existence.
I didn't say it did.
Okay, but you value the zygote. So why do you value the zygote? Appreciate the head mustache.
Why? Because left alone, it will come to term.
Okay. Again, what do you mean?
No,
when you mean
no,
left alone,
that doesn't even.
it's not just alone. It requires the pregnancy, which requires the pregnant individual. So if you say left to its processes, it would. Same thing in the scenario that I brought up specifically with the